What up, pimps? What's up, everyone? How are we doing? Happy Saturday. Saturday, August 12th. Can you believe it? Back with another one. To all those who said I'd give up after not getting any views on the first 60. Well, I'm still here. Kicking like a Brazilian goalkeeper. All right, got the stupid intro out the way. Hey, everybody. Hope everybody is doing very, very well. Happy weekend. We got a fun one packed in today. I'm wearing a brand new shirt again. Obviously, this is becoming a bit of a recurrent theme for me. And it feels so good to be back. Now, if you wouldn't excuse me, I'm having a bit of coffee. And it is... What time is it? 6:20. So we all know what that means. Okay, if I'm drinking coffee and it's nighttime, there's a reason I have my phone, by the way. If I'm drinking coffee and it's nighttime, it means that I'm gonna party, bro. I'm gonna party the whole night through. We should do a 12-hour live stream, just me and my cats and the 3 or 4 of you listening, if that. Anyway, it's very, very good to be here. We've got a full show packed, a ton of stuff, a ton of history, a ton of news. Why don't we just get cracking straight into it? Okay, so a lot of things has happened over the last couple of days, and something that I have specifically done some research on that I really wanted to discuss and bring up. So, who of you know about the mystery that is Lil Tay? Obviously, with me saying that, you'll be like, oh, he's going to talk about this, is he? 100%. I was genuinely blown away when this came out. Okay, so there's going to be a few people in here that don't know who Lil Tay is. And if so, I'm going to give you guys the deets. I've had like 9 drinks since I started. I'm really sorry. So for those who don't know who Lil Tay is, she is a influencer of sorts, or a media personality, internet personality, if I can put it that way. Lil Tay became famous when she was 9 years old. She had been posting content on things like Instagram and YouTube, and a YouTuber by the name of RiceGum found her page. I don't know why anybody watches that guy, by the way. Anyway, so she was known for doing a whole bunch of exuberant stuff. Okay, flashing her cash. RiceGum sees this video of her going, "This my money, you don't got none of that, I'm stacking, you ain't doing shit." 9-year-old girl, right? And he does a bit of a react video to her, and as you would expect, RiceGum at that stage had like 10 million, no, more than that. When was this? 2018? So RiceGum was by no means the king of the platform at all anymore. He was big in like the Jake Paul era as well. Actually, it might have been 2018. I don't know, dude. Jeez, get off my tits. So he posts some stuff about her, and this obviously allows her to go a little bit viral. Fantastic. Lil Tay. That's exciting. You going viral. And she kind of built off of the success, right? So she started posting photos on her Instagram of her in these expensive cars and throwing around cash and dollar bills, y'all. And she really exploded, okay? She opened up an Instagram account, and within 2 weeks, she gets 1.2 million followers. Okay? That's a lot. To have anything even close to 1 million is tons. And she got 1.2 of them. Hell yeah, Lil Tay. Get that bread, girl. Joe Rogan, he was even talking about her. He was talking about her on his thing because she became this sort of cultural phenomenon a little bit. I didn't pay too much attention to her just because, I don't know, maybe I was too late, but, I never get impressed by anybody just showing off how much money they have. It's so stupid. When people want to watch those, you know what the worst show is that I've ever seen? The worst was The Real Housewives of Dubai, or Living Rich in Dubai, or just something bullshit about rich people in Dubai. The premise of the show is as follows. Hey, here's 10 people. These people are richer than you will ever be in your entire life. They afford luxuries that you can only dream about. They've decided that they want to be documented and put on the tele. Would you like to watch it? Would you like to see them live an amazing life that you'll never be able to experience yourself? Would you like to see them waste money on shit when you can barely afford rent? You do? Well, I've got a show for you. It's awful. Everything is so staged, and it's just this arrogant sense of opulence that just comes out of thin air, and it's these rich self-made people taking helicopters to business meetings. Piss off. I never get impressed by that stuff, and I can't stand it when people watch that shit. It's the same reason I watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I mean, it's probably more avenues towards why that's stupid, but just sucking people's dick because they're rich? Fuck that. Anyway, back to my story about a 9-year-old girl. So I didn't really know about her. And the thing is, she fell off really quickly too. And I'm going to explain why she fell off. So she became this big character. She used to go on interviews saying that she had like 10 cars. She really bought into the social media side of things, which was good, right? She started, I would imagine, getting some sort of like sponsorships or ad deals or something. There's money in virality, as you could imagine. And in the end, it all sort of became exposed. She was doing sort of collaborations with other YouTubers, and then they slowly started alluding to the fact that it was her brother who, in the end, was forcing her to be this character. There was like videos released of her being filmed, and then the camera accidentally switches over and it's a shot of her brother, whatever it might be. People started realizing, oh, okay, cool, it's the brother. He's the one who's forcing this character, right? Kind of like Liver King. I actually want to do a video on Liver King. I wonder what happened to him. Don't take my ideas, other more successful, better YouTubers. I don't consider myself a YouTuber, by the way. You cringe. Anyway, so people started going, oh, it's her brother. It's her brother. That's where all of this is coming from. That makes more sense. And she defended it. She was like, no, it's not my brother. It's me. I'm making the decision to do all this sort of stuff. And then people are like, okay, well, you know, maybe it is real. Maybe this little girl who is now 9 that used to complain about living in Atlanta, Georgia when she was 6 but broke, but now she's a millionaire. Maybe this is true. I would assume the internet, you know, was just a little bit of a different place back then. Okay? And it was even worse before then. I remember in 2008, and this is going to sound so stupid, I landed on one of those websites. Have I told this story? I don't know. Well, I'm going to tell it again. But I landed on one of those websites that said, you are our 1 millionth visitor. And I was like, whoa, bro, you win a prize? Clicked on it, and it was for something like £839. I was like, no way. Called in my mom. We filled in all the documentation. I couldn't wait for the money. I started doing research as to how to convert it, what the cost is going to be, how much I'm going to get. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay. So in the end, this came out. It came out that the mom was the one who orchestrated her whole career. Her mom was a real estate agent, and it was her and the son that were using these tools to craft this image of this 9-year-old millionaire, which I think is actually kind of smart. I have to give it to them. But the mom's a real estate agent, so they were using her listings and cars of her boss to go, look at my whip. This is my whip. Wah, wah. And as soon as that came out, there was proof, screenshots. I'm saying the word screenshots because I really don't know what proof there was. I watched a video about this a little while ago. And as soon as that came out, that it was false and that her entire narrative was just bullshit, then people fell away and people were like, ugh, whatever. Why would I be interested in this now, you know? Nobody wants to be able to see through that smoke screen. People want to believe like aliens, right? And then in the end, she fell off of relevancy very quick. Which is sad because, you know, she seemed like a really cool person. Oh, how do I know? She was 9. Okay, I don't know. It's still sad, right? It's still sad because when you're that age, it seems like most of your decisions is not made by yourself. So you shouldn't have to, you know, have some fun and, do some cool things, and then I don't even think I'm making sense. I don't know why I'm sad for her, but I'm sad for her. So, after that, there was a huge legal battle with her dad, okay? Came out that her dad and her mom are divorced, and the dad is a lawyer, and then people started posting abuse allegations that the dad was mentally and physically abusing Lil Tay. In the end, it was all speculation. There was a couple of he said, she said moments in court, but nothing crazy happened. And that was it, right? It was like, okay, bye, Lil Tay. Thanks for everything. It's been sick. And on Monday morning, I woke up and TMZ had reported that Lil Tay, the viral influencer, has died at age 14. And for some reason, I remember looking at this and just being blown away. I thought, Lil Tay? She was a child. She was 14 years old. And she's passed on? Like, that's really sad, And then I thought about maybe she'd committed suicide. I thought, what could it have been? And generally speaking, I thought it was a really, really sad thing. I honestly don't even know how to explain it, but it was really shitty. And I was like, man, this poor girl, it seems like she was just used by her parents for fame. There was a lot of behind the scenes videos and photos that had come out over the last 4 years about how miserable she was and how she didn't really want to do it and she was forced into it. And I felt really bad for her. I really, really did. I thought, those parents are assholes. Completely neglected that poor girl. So the statement that came out read as follows. It's with a heavy heart that we share the devastating news of our beloved Claire's sudden and tragic passing. We have no words to express the unbearable loss and indescribable pain. This outcome was entirely unexpected and has left us all in shock. Her brother's passing adds an even more unimaginable depth to our grief. During this time of immense sorrow, we kindly ask for privacy as we grieve this overwhelming loss, as the circumstances surrounding Claire and her brother's passing are still under investigation. Claire will forever remain in our hearts, her absence leaving an irreplaceable void that will be felt by all who knew and loved her. And I woke up and I read this and I just thought, dude, this poor girl. Like, that sucks, And it just put like a bit of a spotlight on what it's like to, try and be famous nowadays and have shitty parents and, parents desperate to make their kids famous. And then I forgot about it an hour later. Anyway, so very suspiciously, about a day later, a post pops up on somebody's Instagram page who claims to be her brother. Now, at this time, there had been no record of their death. Okay, people had started calling wherever they live. I think it's in like Vancouver. Started calling the police stations or hospitals or whatever it would be, wherever you would keep track of deaths. And there was no mention. There was no record. So people thought, that's kind of odd. Okay, but not going to jump to any conclusions. That same day, some stuff started getting posted. Okay, an Instagram account popped up claiming to be Lil Tay's brother, the same one who had orchestrated all the shit, apparently, that said, in all caps, by the way, "To be clear, I am not dead. I don't have access anymore to the Lil Tay Instagram account. My sister and I were winning our case. It was just a couple of days before we got it all back and all her social media and come out about the truth." Sorry, I might have misread that. Whatever. "Me and Tay are not dead. We don't got access to the account. Our parents want us gone off the internet, but we will not go away. This is our new account for now. They are spreading misinformation. We are not dead. They're the only one that got access to the account. Do not believe it. Our parents took everything and they abused Tay. Hard. It's from Borat. All we ask is to share this post to your story and follow this account. More updates in a couple of hours. Okay. So that was kind of like people like, what the fuck? That is pretty nuts. Maybe this was all just fake, right? But the weird thing is that her management team confirmed to TMZ that she had died. I don't know why. But her family has now since come out and made another statement to TMZ going, the account got hacked. She's not dead at all. And then some people are saying, or a lot of people are saying, she was never dead. Well, obviously. There was no hack. This was no foul play. This was just another marketing stunt by Lil Tay because something's going to happen. And to be fair, it worked. You know, the internet kind of jumped on this story, rightfully so. I even thought, man, this is crazy. I'm talking about it right now. I've been talking about it for the last 15 minutes. So good on you, Lil Tay. You know, if it was I've always thought that faking your own death, bro, that shit is like untapped potential to see how people would behave. It's untapped potential in terms of going famous, if that's your absolute desperate last goal. So anyways, that was pretty interesting. And that's it, by the way. So nothing else has happened with Lil Tay. We'll see if any further news pops up. But as it is right now, thank the good Lord above that she's okay. Every now and then, I think to myself, oh, I can't believe that person's dead. The world would be so much better. Would just be a much better place if they were still here. Right? Obviously family members and things. But when it comes to celebrities, somebody like Mac Miller, cool as hell. Ryan Dunn from Jackass, 10 out of 10, that guy. I always wondered what would life have still been like if people like that. And I'm not somebody who gets obsessed with dead celebrities, right? I didn't cry when Chester Bennington passed away, but, to take somebody out of the world who just deserves to grow old comfortably. Like murderers and shit like that, fuck them. But somebody who, is just a normal, nice human being that brings joy to some, I don't think they should be dead. Anyway, talking about the topic of death, I saw this today. I didn't see the actual video, but get this. This happened in Bosnia. You ever been to Bosnia? I take you to Bosnia. But I warn you, you come to Bosnia, you mistreat Bosnia, I fuck you up. In Bosnia, we don't play around, I fuck you up. I'm joking. I don't know what the Bosnian accent is, and I don't know if that is... I don't even know where it is on a map. So please, Bosnian fans, don't worry about it, bro. I'll come and see you all. This did happen. This happened August 12th, today. The story was posted about 2 hours ago. A bodybuilder in Bosnia executed his own wife on Instagram. Well, while live streaming on Instagram. And it's nuts, right? So basically what had happened was they were going through a bit of a divorce. The gentleman's name. Oh, let's actually see if I can pronounce it. Yeah, the murder took place in the Bosnian town of Gradačak on Friday, which is weird because normally Gradačak is known for being quite a peaceful, nice town, right? So he's a bodybuilder. His name is Nerman Sulejmanović. I actually think I got it pretty good. He's jacked. He's enormous. Dude's huge as hell. Looks like him and his wife were going through a divorce. And he started live streaming, right? And he said, "Look, when you're dealing with a whore who reports you to the police." In the clip, the woman was shown disfigured and bloodied from a beating, sitting on a chair while a child cried in the background. Oh, that's so sad, man. That's honestly so fucked. This poor woman. Because the thing is, this guy is huge, right? He's absolutely enormous. And his wife just looks like, a normal sized lady. It would be very, very easy for him to cause an incredible amount of damage to her physically if he attacked her. And it seems that that's exactly what he did. And I can't imagine how scared that poor woman must have been, right? Oy. Gosh damn. I'm just looking at photos of him. Dude's too jacked, honestly. Goes bald. Jacked as hell. Anyway, so he's streaming after he's like beaten his wife. And then he goes up to her with a pistol and babooms her. Nagging. So that sucks dick. That is really, really sad. I actually did try and find the video. I normally have a bit of a morbid curiosity with those sort of things, but just because I think that it makes me more grateful to be alive when I see how fragile the human body is. When I was a kid, I have seen a bunch of those sort of videos. Ugh, where did I see my first one? I don't even know. But I've seen like the typical ISIS stuff, and I actually had a friend by the name of Dylan who I showed. He came to my house because we were in university together, and he came to my house because we were going to work on a project. And it was myself, Dylan, and a guy called George. George, the man who designed this. Bless you, bro. And I go, "Dylan, I want to show you this." And he goes, What? And I pull up an ISIS beheading video. Now, if you've ever seen some of the recent ISIS beheading videos, bro, they don't film that shit on like iPhone 4s, right? They have an enormously high production budget. I kid you not. They film with cinema quality cameras. And I'm not saying that to be funny. But ISIS uses those videos as major intimidation tools. So what do? They film with the most expensive cameras they can get their hands on. This is true. Go watch one of their videos. Like a 2022 one. ISIS beheading, gone wrong, gone sexual. Ethan. And I showed it to him, and it's the first time he'd ever seen anything like that. And he watches it, and he's like, "Bro, why are you showing me this?" But he can't look away. And then it finishes. It was only about 2 minutes long. And I still remember it. It was just these guys that were taken into like a butchery, and they were thrown down on this metal grate, and the camera was like on them here. Oh, throat slit. And he watches the shit, and he goes, "Ugh, ugh." And then he goes quiet. He goes quiet for like 40 seconds. And he's just sat there. And I'm like, "Dylan, what's wrong, bro?" And he's like, "I can't believe that I just saw this." And I was like, "You'll be fine, bro. Don't worry about it." George was completely undeterred. And for the next few hours that Dylan was there, probably the next like half an hour, he couldn't think straight. He just kept on going back to it. Anyway, so those videos are terrible to see. Don't look at those sorts of things, right? I can because I'm an adult. But it's never... Honestly, I do think that it just helps you understand how precious life is, if I'm being honest. It's not all love and rainbows. Something can happen to me right now. Really, okay? So appreciate your health. Appreciate your life. God, what a boring way to end it, huh? Dr. Phil. So rest in peace to his wife. What a dick. Bro, if you got YouTube in your Bosnian jail, fuck you. Alrighty, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the worst jobs I ever had. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be fun, right? I've had a bunch of different things that I've done. I've worked since I was on and off since I was about 10. Okay, which is like medieval times of working, right? It's like Industrial Revolution, Middle Age France level of working, where a kid's a chimney sweeper. But I always wanted to just pay my own way, do my own things, get my own cash. And the very first job I ever had was working as a magician's assistant. Not a joke, that's absolutely true. I was a magician's assistant. I worked there for one day, and I got fired for taking too many breaks. I did take a lot of breaks, now that I think about it. Still, whatever, bro. I was 10. What'd you expect? Basically, you'd stand in a mall, and you'd help the guy sell, like, the stupid boxes of magic, right? And it was things like a pack of cards that was cut funny, or you'd be able to make a matchbox talk because it was attached to like a little piece of string. Just stupid shit like that. I cannot believe my mom allowed me to do that at such a young age. What a garbage job that was. Then I worked as a grocery store guy. So I used to just, do the tick tick tick, play the piano. And it was one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my entire life. It sucked dick. Fuck. I hated that job. It was just insane hours. So I was 16 and my mom said, "Oh, go get a job for the Christmas holidays. I'm going on vacation, but you'll stay here and you'll work." I was like, "Okay." Bloody hell, bro. I couldn't have just taken that holiday and just relaxed. Now that I think about it. Anyway, and the money was awful. I made like $10 a day. Ugh. So vile. 7:30 in the morning until 8 in the evening. I worked Christmas Day, for fuck's sakes. I swear to you, it was Christmas break. I worked Christmas Day. And that was just so shit, because I would see the scum of the earth come in. I had one guy that wanted to beat me up. This is true, right? I was 16 years old. And this guy had come in before, but I hadn't really thought about him too much. And he was with a girl. And this girl was easily like 24, 25. Something like that. Eventually, after about a week of working there, this girl comes in with one of her friends, a female friend. And they're paying for like some cigarettes or something. And I'm just beeping him up. And the girl goes, "Hey, how old are you?" And I go, "I'm 16. Why?" And they laugh and they go, "Yeah, no reason." And they go. As if I would give that any more thought, right? The next day, this dude comes in, okay? Now he's about this much taller than I am, all right? I'm 6'3", so this guy was 6 foot whatever. And he's fucking firstly pretty jacked. And lastly, he was in his 30s. No jokes. He was a 30-year-old laborer with these big forearms and shit. And he comes in and he comes up to me and he goes, You better watch your fucking self." And I'm like, "Sorry? What do you mean?" And he goes, "Shut up. You better fucking watch yourself, but I'll fuck you up. You heard me? You talk to my girlfriend again and you flirt with her, I'll murder you." Murder means hit. And I was terrified. I even said to him, I tried to just talk to him. I went, "Listen, I'm really sorry if I might have done something to upset you, but I generally don't understand why you're upset with me." And he goes, "You better watch your fucking self." And then he buys some cigarettes from the guy next to me and leaves. And I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. The dude next to me, he had been working there for like 2 or 3 years. He was probably in his like late 20s. The dude doesn't even stand up for me. He doesn't even go, "Hey man, just leave him alone. He's a kid." He just fucking stands by. I remember looking at him and he was just like busy putting money into the till. Didn't even look. You coward. I don't even know your name, you prick. You're probably still working there. Should have stood up, man. If I was ever in that situation and a 16-year-old kid's being yelled at, 16-year-old skinny ass kid's being yelled by a 30-year-old, I go, "Hey bro, relax. Why are you yelling at this poor kid? He's been working here for a week. He hasn't done anything. What are you thinking he's done? You thinking he's stolen something from me? What is it? Sorry. Just feel like that had to come out. God, I'm going to call that place. Try and speak to him. Dickhead. Anyway. I did that for a bit. Did that for like a month. And I hated it. Worst job I ever had. It was shitty. The people I used to talk to sucked. Everybody was poor. Not that being poor is a problem. But people would come in and they'd fight with you over 10 cents. You know? There'd be something listed for like $1.40. And then they'd come and they'd beep it and be $1.38. I'm exchanging now because it was South African rands. And they would make me call the boss to be like, no, I'm not paying this. That's what it says on the thing. Whatever it was. And people would come in and they would have no money. They'd have no money. I saw old ladies come in. And every time I'd see them before then, they'd come and they'd buy like one roll of toilet paper. You know, or like 2 bananas for her and her husband. And she'd be like, oh, it's our treat for the next 2 days. We're going to have a bit of the banana. And they came in the once. There was this huge mega jackpot in the lottery, 150 million rand. It was like the biggest one they'd ever had, like in years or something. And this woman came and she had the equivalent of like $400. She comes to me and she goes, I want to get some lotto tickets. We've been saving this up for months, but we have a really good feeling. Lo and behold, I give the woman her tickets, a stack like this. She comes back 2 days later. I beep them for her. Nothing. Oh, the sadness. The sadness I experienced while working at that damn place. Okay. Piss off, Uber Eats. I worked at Apple as well. I was an Apple sales guy. That was just annoying. The job itself wasn't that bad. It was just being a sales guy, you know? People come in and they want to buy something and you'd help them pick out like an iPhone and stuff. It was at a Apple store in South Africa that had gotten robbed 3 months prior. Violently robbed. Like violently. And it was at the tail end of a big spate of Apple store robberies. They're called iStores. And I was working at a branch called Cresta. And that store had gotten robbed about 2 months before I started. Or 2 months before I put in my application. I had like 2 weeks of training. So say 3 months. And I didn't know, right? I really had no idea. I wanted a job. And I thought, oh, that seems pretty cool. You know, it seems quite premium. And then I started reading about it. And I was like, no wonder they took me so easily. Very short-staffed. It was so terrifying when I was working there. The first time it had gotten robbed, this guy had come up to one of the staff members and gone, hey, I'm looking to buy some iPhones for my work, but I need a lot. You know, do you guys have lots in stock? And she goes, how many are you looking for? And he goes, hundreds. And she goes, oh, okay. And he goes, yeah, I want to buy them all cash, right? And he goes, okay. And he goes, can you go check how many you have? And she goes, yeah, I'll do that. I mean, you wouldn't be that suspicious. Well, I guess now you would be. But she goes back and she checks. And she comes to him and she's like, yeah, we've got tons. And he goes, cool. I'll be back tomorrow. That afternoon, the guy comes in, he goes straight back to that girl. He pulls out a gun. And he goes, where's your manager? And she goes, he's over there. And he points towards his buddies. It's like 4 or 5 of them. And they grab the manager. And they go and they go, lock the doors, bro. Lock the doors. The guy's like, okay. They lock the doors. They get everybody out. Okay. And they get all the staff members towards a little storage area where they keep the iPhones and stuff, right? People always wonder, where do they do it? They've got a big safe. And they get all the staff members in there. And one of the guys looks up. They get them down on their knees and stuff. And one of the guys looks up The dude just hits him. Bah! Oh, hit me. And then he goes, don't get up, don't look me in my eyes. And they were very violent with everybody, like throwing him around and stuff. 2 people got hit in the face with the butt end of a gun. Scary stuff. Why am I talking so negatively today? Sorry. Anyway, so I worked there. Nothing happened. Thank the good Lord above. I was totally fine. We never had any sort of issues. The worst thing we ever had was just like there was this homeless guy that used to come in. And he was just in love with me. All this dude could think about was making me his husband. 100%. He used to come in all the time. He was like 60. Yeah, long, dirty hair. Shitty clothes. Ugh. And I will never discriminate against a homeless person. Ever. Poor people. Not poor people as in they are poor people. But I mean like, oh, poor guy. I'm very poor guy. So I was always nice to him. And the first time I was nice to him, we spoke for maybe 20 seconds. Like he was over there and I was here. And I was like, can I help you with anything, sir? Knowing that I'm not going to make a sale. We don't sell toothpicks or bubble gum or rum. And he's like, no, thank you. And he's just looking at stuff. I'm like, okay. And eventually he leaves. And he comes back the next day and he comes straight up to me, straight up to my face. Boom. And he starts talking to me just about shit, right? Just about like his family and the stuff he's doing. And he was telling me about how rich he is and how he has a business in Dubai and he makes millions and things like that. And he's talking to me. And the only thing I can focus on is this dude's fucking breath. Imagine somebody drinks nothing but straight fucking whiskey for 6 months and doesn't brush their teeth. It's exactly what it was. I was talking to him and I was like, oh. Now, thinking back, I would have now probably said, like, I'm sorry, so I really have to do some work. If there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know, but I really have to get back to some other customers. Because he was just talking and babbling shit. But that breath, bro. Oh. It stayed in my clothes for days. Days! Then he comes in, right? And he comes in and he's like, hey, I just got a big payout. I just got a lot of money. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he's got this like bag on wheels, shitty old bag on wheels. He's pulling. He takes out a piece of paper that just had an amount typed out on it. Nothing else. It didn't have a header or anything like that. It was just in like this side. Here's the A4. It was just like there or there. Just an amount. It was like 112 million rand. And he goes, this is what I'm getting right now. And he starts walking around and he goes, I want 2 of these, and 1 of these, and 2 of these. And I'm like, okay, yeah, for sure. And he goes, get it all ready, I'll be back. And I'm obviously not going to get any of the stuff ready because he doesn't want shit. He's just crazy. And eventually he comes back about 20 minutes, half an hour later, and he grabs my arm and he goes, I want you to come to my house tonight. Help me set all this up, please. Please come to my house tonight. And I go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Listen, this is making me uncomfortable. And then as soon as I said that, he goes, oh, I'm very sorry, very sorry. And he leaves. Never see him again. I think he was hitting on me, bro, which is nice. If you can pull a hobo, dude, you still got it. But besides that, the job wasn't that bad. I did do promotions for a bit. And that's how you know your life's not heading in a good direction. If you're doing promotions. Hey, Samsung cell phone. Hey, Bacardi Aquafresh. Whatever the shit might be. I didn't like that. That was just driving around to shitty parts of South Africa trying to flog the new entry-level Samsung earphones. It was awful. It was awful. You know what? It wasn't that bad. It was just so much begging. People used to come up to me all the time and just ask for free phones or ask me for money or ask me for cigarettes. And I was like, bro, I'm making like $9 an hour. I don't have money. Okay? I've driven 2.5 hours to be here. Go away. So, oh shit, how far are we into this? Blam, I've been blabbing. Fuck me. I might save that for next time then. Okay. I'm almost done. I want everybody to get back to their day. So, I did that for a bit, but that's like, it's not that bad. It's like kids' jobs, right? You know, you do that sort of stuff when you're 18, which is fine. You know, I just, it was shitty money and it wasn't that great. I did work for this wine company once called Valdo, which was so cool. That was cool. I did appreciate that job a lot. They paid well, the hours were good, and my job was effectively just selling Prosecco. Prosecco. I used to stand around at wine shows and just get drunk with like middle-aged people talking about the different wines, even though I knew nothing about it. I had a list of the different sort of flavor notes to talk about, and that was it. And I used to pour. We had four, so you'd pour 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd pour yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you drink with these people, and they'd buy a box, and then the next people come by, and you do the same thing. Man, that was fun. In accordance to the alcohol type of thing, I was a bartender for a bit, like most people have been. I like that. I don't know if any of you have ever been bartenders, but I liked it. I'm gonna sneeze. Yuck. But bartending is cool. I don't know if I should cut that out. Sorry if you had to hear that up close. It's fun, right? Because I've done two sorts of bartending. I've done festival bartending and I've done club bartending. Okay. Festival bartending is when it's like shows, big shows. So there's two things. When you do festival bartending, it's a lot of people. A ton of people. Just non-stop circulation of thousands of individuals at these shows. A lot of it's cash based, so you can be kind of quick with it. The drinks are very simple. You know, they only sell like 4 different sorts of things, but they do a lot of them because it's all like friends and stuff. That was pretty fun. You know, I got to see some cool bands. I saw Foster the People. I've always wanted to see them. Well, I only saw Pumped Up Kicks. I saw them finish with Pumped Up Kicks, but that was fun. But being a club bartender, that shit is the bomb, dude. If you are a club person and you like clubbing, become a club bartender because every night it's like you are clubbing. I think in Australia it's probably different because you've got much more strict rules when it comes to drinking on site. But in South Africa, dude, people would buy you shots all the time, and you take them. Why not? What? You know, it's money for the place. What are you gonna do? Pour them and then go thank you and put it away? Oh, drink that shit. I got fired from being a bartender though at a club after a couple of months. Still, good job. I liked it. It was really fun. Now I know I've kind of put this down as the worst jobs I ever had, but I want to talk about the best job I ever had, which was working in a doggy daycare. As you can imagine, just the biggest blessing of work. You come in every day and there's just 20 dogs. And all of them get along, right? You can't have 20 dogs together unless you slowly ingratiate each one into the rest of the gang to make sure that there's no fighting. So they're all cool. They're all chill. And you've got your favorites, and you've got some that are not your favorites, but then that one will be somebody else's favorite. So they all get love. And if you're ever having a bad day, let's say you wake up and you don't want to talk to people, you come in, you don't have to. My job was to come in and grab 4 dogs, put them on leashes, and then take them for walks. And you walk around. I was walking around Sydney, just around the river, you know, just walking these cool dogs. It is very difficult though, because people always think that, you know, think about walking 4 dogs. You always think that the dogs are just going to go in a straight line like this. Boof. They don't. All right. They cross over each other, and the one smells this, the one does that, and you have to untangle shit, which is not the worst thing in the world. But I did lose a dog on my first day of working as a dog walker. That sucked. It was an absolute nightmare. I'll tell you guys a story. I need to clean my nose. Disgusting. So it was my very first day, and my boss comes in, and his name is Jack. Such a cool dude. Very, very cool. He was very patient with me and all the mistakes I made. Even, because the thing is, you have a lot of responsibility, okay? As you can imagine, when you take care of somebody's dog, there's not a lot that can go wrong, right? It's just like a dog, and you just chill with them, and you feed them, and you take them for a walk. So there's not a lot that can go wrong. But when something does go wrong, that's somebody's dog, okay? And they're paying $50 a day to get them here, to keep them here. They care about that little fucker. And the very first day that I start, he goes, okay, cool. Are you ready for your first walk? And he gives me the 4 leashes. I pop them on, and I pick 4 medium-sized dogs, or 4 small dogs. And the biggest one of them was a whippet. A whippet. Have you ever seen a whippet? It's like a greyhound. They're quick. And I'm walking the dogs, happy as Larry. And as I mentioned, they get crossed over. So what I do is I grab the 4 of them, and I start trying to untangle the thing. And then as I put my hands through, I let go. And this one is not on my hand, and it falls. Boo, 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 boo. And there she goes. Her name is Daisy. Never forget her. And I've got 3 dogs in my hand and 1 dog over there. So I'm like, shit. So somebody's walking this way, right? But they just past Daisy. So I walk up to him and I go, hey, dude, can you just hold this? I just have to grab that dog. And he goes, yeah, no problem. So he takes the 3 that I have, and I go up to Daisy, and I'm about 1 meter away from her. And as soon as I leap, she just bolts, and she just runs. And my first instinct is to run after her, obviously. And I am sprinting. I'm sprinting through this huge park in Sydney. This absolutely enormous park in Sydney. It's called like Potts Point Park or something. Is it? No, Rush Cutters. That's what it is, if you ever wanted to see how big it is. And I am running for Daisy. And dude, she's quick. It's a whippet. And everybody is watching this dog. Nobody stops. Nobody even tries to intervene. They just watch her go. People are laughing at me. And I'm so embarrassed. And I'm just running. And eventually gets to the point where I cannot breathe anymore. And I stop. And she's still going. And I just want to pick myself up to run after her. I've probably run about 1 kilometer at this point. And I go, the other dogs. I've still got 3 dogs back there. This guy doesn't know where I work, who I am. I've just gone up to him and said, can you hold these dogs? And I am freaking out. Like, what do I do? So I run back. And I run back to the other guy. I can barely breathe. I feel sick. I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude. Thank you. And I run back, and I'm like slowly running with Daisy. Slowly running with the other 3 dogs, trying to find Daisy, but she's gone. She could have gone anywhere, right? It's a massive park with roads and shit and steps, and it's next to a body of water. And I call my boss, and I'm like, Jack, I'm so sorry, bro, but I've lost Daisy. And bless him, he's like, okay, what do you see? And I was brand new to Sydney, so I'm like, I see some trees, and I'm in, like, the left side of the park. And he goes, Sheldon, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a humongous park, dude. Where are you? What do you see? And eventually I find some street names, whatever it might be, and I'm just walking around. I'm just walking around now for the next hour and a bit, just trying to find her. And I see him, and he's just running around. And eventually, I've just lost hope. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm going to have to be the one to tell these people that I lost their beautiful charcoal-colored whippet. And as the good Lord above would have it, I'm walking around. I feel like I'm about to cry, right? I just can't. I'm going to lose my job. Like, this sucks. I waited so long to try and get this job. I was giving them calls every 3 or 4 days going, hey, any chance you guys are hiring yet? And they go, no, Sheldon, we'll give you a call. And then he did, and I felt so grateful. And I'm walking with these dogs, and the next second I turn the street, and there's a lady walking a baby, and she's got Daisy on the lead. And I go up to this woman, and I'm like, excuse me, that's not your... Is this a dog that you found? Want to make sure, even though I can see it's the same thing, like same lead and same harness. And she goes, yeah. She just walked straight up to me, very tired, and I just picked her up, just been walking with her. And turns out Daisy lives in that area. And she had just wanted to go home. Poor little thing. And I picked her up, and she was just so tired and so sleepy. And I was just so glad to have her. And I was like, Daisy, please don't ever do that again. Very wholesome ending. I felt very grateful and very lucky that I got away with it in that sense. But all things considered, hands down the best job I ever had. Okay. Which is the reason that I brought this up is I wanted to get to this. Most recently, one of my worst jobs was being a cold caller. Yes, scum of the earth, bullshitty, terrible job, cold caller. And I hated it, right? As you can imagine, I worked for digital marketing firms, and I had to cold call just business owners and go, hey, do you want to buy digital marketing? And as you can expect, these business owners are getting 4 or 5 of these phone calls every single day, right? And they would, most of the times, it'd be very nice. You know, they'd be like, no, thanks. They wouldn't be very nice. They'd just be normal. Sometimes they'd be really nice, and they'd be like, listen, I get so many of these calls. You sound like a nice guy. Not interested. Thank you so much. A lot of times, they just treat you like you were 2 scoops of dog shit. And they get really, really mad. And I was working with this guy called Gareth. And we were doing some training sessions, and he makes this phone call. And to this day, it's one of my favorite calls I've ever heard. And I really want you guys to hear it. You don't need any more context than this.
Hello, this is Marty.
Hi there, Marty. It's Gareth here. How are you? That's good. Mate, I thought I'd give you a bit of a courtesy call. I'm just on your website here at the moment. I actually worked with
one. This is you're number 3 today at my website. Everybody hates it, okay? Yeah, please don't embarrass yourself, mate, okay?
Am I number 4?
Number 3. You're number 4. 6 emails from India. Come on.
Mate, I'm Australian. I'm Australian.
I don't care. Please. You're an embarrassment to yourself doing this.
Surely I'm the best one.
4 emails from India. You're number 3 today. You're like an upgrade, put you on the bluff. Don't do it to anybody. Please.
Mate, I'm here to help
I'm
you.
upset because you guys pissed me off.
Mate, I'm here to help.
No, you're not.
I am.
For fuck's sake. You're not. Go away.
Oh, Gareth. That was just... I felt very blessed to be able to be a part of that call. I had a few more that I wanted to play, but we're running out of time, and I'm going to end it there for the day. This has been one of the nicest podcasts that I've had the pleasure of doing. If you've still stuck around, leave a comment. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Just tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm enough. Just joking. But everybody, thank you so much for, caring enough to listen to this crap. It's always really nice to be able to just talk to some people. And I'm going to be back next week. Some more stuff. Get in touch anytime if you want to. Oh, I love it. It's cool, this, huh? Oh, yeah. What do you think about the setup? I think I'm going to change it because I'm not into this. This thing's going to fall. So I'm trying to sort this thing all out. I've had like 3 different setups, but with the same idea. So I'm gonna do some like proper work, get a really nice setup, and just leave it like that. Anyways, homies, take care of yourself. Goodbye.